Part 1. Fundamental Techniques in Handling People. Chapter 1 Summary. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. The book starts off in the middle of a story where a cop killer had been hunted down to a standoff in his girlfriend's New York apartment. During the hours-long standoff, in between shooting incessantly at the police from inside of the apartment, the man, Gun Crowley, wrote a letter addressed to whom it may concern. And one of the lines in this letter said, "Under my coat is a weary heart, but a kind one that would do nobody any harm." This man was ultimately captured and sentenced to the electric chair. And when he arrived on death row, did he say to himself, "This is what I get for killing people"? No. He said, "This is what I get for defending myself." The point of the story was that Gun Crowley didn't blame himself for anything, and few criminals regard themselves as bad men. These people are just as human as you and I, and everyone else. So, we rationalize, we explain, by some form of reasoning, whether it's a false or a logical justification to ourselves, why we should never have been condemned at all. And if criminals aren't going to blame themselves for anything, what about the people with whom you and I contact every day? You see, it is foolish to scold, because people typically don't criticize themselves for anything, no matter how wrong they may be. Criticism is futile because it puts a person on the defensive, and it usually makes them strive to justify themselves. Criticism is especially dangerous because it wounds a person's precious pride, it hurts their sense of importance, and it arouses resentment. An animal rewarded for good behavior will learn much more quickly and retain what it learns far more effectively than any animal punished for bad behavior. The same applies to humans. By criticizing, we do not make lasting changes, and we often incur resentment. As much as we thirst for approval, we dread condemnation. The resentment that criticism engenders can demoralize employees, family members, and friends, and still not correct the situation that has been condemned. So let's realize that the person that we are going to correct and condemn will probably justify themselves and then condemn us in return, or say something like, "I don't see how I could have done any differently from what I have." When dealing with people, we must remember we are not dealing with creatures of logic. We are dealing with creatures of emotion. Benjamin Franklin was tactless in his youth, but he later became so diplomatic and adroit at handling people. And he said that the secret to his success was this: "I will speak ill of no man," he said, "and speak all the good I know of everybody." Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most fools do. But it takes character and self-control to be understanding and forgiving. So remember that a great person shows their greatness by the way that they treat smaller people. And if you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive.